The End. After the blast of lightning from the east, the flourish of loud clouds at the chariot throne, after the drums of time have rolled and ceased, and by the bronze west long retreat is blown, shall life renew these bodies? Of a truth, or death will he annul, or tears assuage, or fill these void veins full again with youth, and wash with an immortal water age? When I do ask white age, he saith not so. My head hangs weighed with snow. And when I hearken to the earth, she saith, my fiery heart shrinks aching, it is death. Mine ancient scars shall not be glorified, nor my titanic tears the seas be dried. The Unreturning. Suddenly, night crushed out the day and hurled her remnants over cloud peaks thunder-walled. Then fell a stillness such as harks appalled when far gone dead return upon the world. There watched I for the dead, but no ghost woke. Each one whom life exiled I named and called. They were all too far, or dumbed, or thralled, and never one fared back to me or spoke. Then peered the indefinite unshapen dawn, with vacant gloaming, sad as half-lit minds, the weak-limbed hour when sick men's sighs are drained, and while I wondered on their being withdrawn, gagged by the smothering wing which none unbinds, I dreaded even a heaven with doors so chained. Minors. There was a whispering in my hearth, a sigh of the coal, growing wistful of a former earth it might recall. I listened for a tale of leaves and smothered ferns, frond forests and the low sly lives before the fawns. My fire might show steam phantoms simmer from time's old cauldron, before the birds made nests in summer, or men had children. But the coals were murmuring of their mine, and moans down there, of boys that slept wry sleep, and men writhing for air. And I saw white bones in the cinder shard, bones without number, for many hearts with coal are charred, and few remember. I thought of some who worked dark pits of war and died, digging the rock where death reputes peace lies indeed. Comforted years will sit soft-chaired in rooms of amber. The years will stretch their hands, well cheered by our lives' ember. The centuries will burn rich loads with which we groaned, whose warmth shall lull their dreaming lids while songs are crooned. They will not dream of us poor lads lost in the ground. Happiness. Ever again to breathe pure happiness, the happiness our mother gave us boys, to smile at nothings, needing no caress. Have we not laughed too often since with joys? Have we not wrought too sick and sorrowful wrongs, for her hand's pardoning? The sun may cleanse, and time and starlight, life will sing sweet songs, and gods will show us pleasure more than men's. Yet heaven looks smaller than the old doll's home, no nestling place is left in bluebell bloom, and the wide arms of trees have lost their scope. The former happiness is unreturning. Boys' griefs are not so grievous as our yearning. Boys have no sadness sadder than our hope. Shadwell Stair. I am the ghost of Shadwell Stair, along the wharves by the water-house, and through the dripping slaughter-house, I am the shadow that walks there. Yet I have flesh both firm and cool, and eyes tumultuous as the gems of moons and lamps in the lapping Thames, when dusk sails wavering down the pool. Shuddering, the purple street arc burns, where I watch always, from the banks, Dolorously the shipping clanks, and after me a strange tide turns. I walk till the stars of London wane, and dawn creeps up the Shadwell Stair. But when the crowing sirens blare, I with another ghost am lain. 6 o'clock in Prince's Street. In twos and threes they have not far to roam, crowds that thread eastward gay of eyes. Those seek no further than their quiet home, wives walking westward, slow and wise. Neither should I go fooling over clouds, following gleams unsafe, untrue, and tiring after beauty through star crowds. Dared I go side by side with you? Or be you in the gutter where you stand, pale, rain-floored phantom of the place, with news of all the nations in your hand, and all their sorrows in your face? The roads also. The roads also have their wistful rest, when the weathercocks perch still and roost, and the town is a candlelit room. The streets also dream their dream. The old houses muse of the old days, and their fond trees leaning on them doze. On their steps chatter and clatter stops, on their doors a strange hand taps. Men remember alien ardours, as the dusk unearths old mournful odours. In the garden unborn child souls wail, and the dead scribble on walls. Though their own child cry for them in tears, women weep but hear no sound upstairs. They believe in loves they had not lived, and in passion past the reach of the stairs, to the world's towers or stars. Hospital barge at Cérisy. Budging the sluggard ripples of the Somme, a barge round old Cérisy slowly slewed. Softly her engines down the current screwed, and chuckled in her with contented hum, till fairy tinklings struck their croonings dumb, the waters rumpling at the stern, subdued. The lock gate took her bulging amplitude. Gently from out the gurgling lock she swum. One reading by that sunsight raised his eyes, to watch her lessening westward quietly, till, as she neared the bend, her funnel screamed. And that long lamentation made him wise, how unto Avalon in agony kings passed in the dark barge, which Merlin dreamed. Training. Not this week, nor this month, dare I lie down in languor under lime trees or smooth smile. Love must not kiss my face pale that is brown. My lips, parting, shall drink space, mile by mile. Strong meats be all my hunger, my renown be the clean beauty of speed and pride of style. Cold winds, encountered on the racing down, shall thrill my heated bareness but a while. None else may meet me till I wear my crown. Sonnet. To a child. Sweet is your antique body, not yet young, beauty withheld from youth that looks for youth, fair only for your father, dear among masters in arts, to all men else uncouth. Save me, who know your smile comes very old, learnt of the happy dead that laughed with gods, for earlier sons than ours have lent you gold. Sly fawns and trees have given you jigs and nods. But soon your heart, hot beating like a bird's, shall slow down, youth shall lop your hair, and you must learn rhyme meanings in our words. Your smile shall dull, because too keen aware, and when for hopes your hand shall be uncurled, your eyes shall close, being opened to the world. To Eros. In that I loved you, love, I worshipped you. In that I worshipped well, I sacrificed. All of most worth I bound and burnt and slew. Old peaceful lives, frail flowers, firm friends, and Christ. I slew all falser loves, I slew all true, that I might nothing love but your truth, boy. Fair fame I cast away as bridegrooms do, their wedding garments in their haste of joy. But when I fell upon your sandalled feet, you laughed, you loosed away my lips, you rose. I heard the singing of your wings retreat. Far flown, I watched you flush the Olympian snows. Beyond my hoping, starkly I returned, to stare upon the ash of all I burned. My shy hand. My shy hand shades a hermitage apart, O large enough for thee and thy brief hours. Life there is sweeter held than in God's heart, stiller than in the heavens of hollow flowers. The wine is gladder there than in gold bowls, and time shall not drain thence nor trouble spill. Sources between my fingers feed all souls, where thou mayest cool thy lips and draw thy fill. 5 cushions hath my hand for reveries, and 1 deep pillow for thy brow's fatigues. Languor of June all winter long, and ease for ever from the vain untravelled leagues. Thither your years may gather in from storm, and love that sleepeth there will keep thee warm. The kind ghosts. She sleeps on soft last breaths, but no ghost looms out of the stillness of her palace wall, her wall of boys on boys and dooms on dooms. She dreams of golden gardens and sweet glooms, not marvelling why her roses never fall, nor what red mouths were torn to make their blooms. The shades keep down which well might roam her hall. Quiet their blood lies in her crimson rooms, and she is not afraid of their footfall. They move not from her tapestries their pall, nor pace her terraces their hecatombs, lest aught she be disturbed, or grieved at all. Music. I have been urged by earnest violins, and drunk their mellow sorrows to the slake of all my sorrows and my thirsting sins. My heart has beaten for a brave drum's sake. Huge chords have wrought me mighty. I have hurled thuds of God's thunder, and with old winds pondered over the curse of this chaotic world, with low lost winds that maundered as they wandered. I have been gay with trivial fifes that laugh, and songs more sweet than possible things are sweet, and gongs and oboes, yet I guessed not half life's symphony till I had made hearts beat, and touched love's body into trembling cries, and blown my love's lips into laughs and sighs. Winter Song. The browns, the olives, the yellows died, and were swept up to heaven, where they glowed each dawn and set of sun till Christmas tide. And when the land lay pale for them, pale snowed, fell back and down the snowdrifts flamed and flowed. From off your face into the winds of winter, the sun brown and the summer gold are blowing, but they shall gleam again with spiritual glinter, when paler beauty on your brows falls snowing, and through those snows my looks shall be soft going. Storm. His face was charged with beauty, as a cloud, with glimmering lightning. When it shadowed me, I shook, and was uneasy as a tree that draws the brilliant danger, tremulous, bowed. So I must tempt that face to loose its lightning. Great gods, whose beauty is death, will laugh above, who made his beauty lovelier than love. I shall be bright with their unearthly brightening. And happier were it if my sap consume. Glorious will shine the opening of my heart. The land shall freshen that was under gloom. What matter if all men cry aloud and start, and women hide bleak faces in their shawl, at those hilarious thunders of my fall. To my friend, parentheses, with an identity disc. If ever I had dreamed of my dead name, high in the heart of London unsurpassed, by time forever and the fugitive, fame, there seeking a long sanctuary at last. Or if I one time hoped to hide its shame, shame of success and sorrow of defeats, under those holy cypresses the same, that shade always the quiet place of Keats. Now rather thank I God there is no risk of gravers scoring it with florid screed. Let my inscription be this soldier's disc. Wear it, sweet friend, inscribe no date nor deed, but may thy heartbeat kiss it night and day, until the name grow blurred and fade away. Fragment. Not one corner. Not one corner of a foreign field, but a span as wide as Europe, deep as... I looked and saw an appearance of a Titan's grave, and the length thereof 1,000 miles. It crossed all Europe like a mystic road, or as the spirit's pathway lieth on the night. And I heard a voice crying, "This is the path of glory." Fragment. Cramped in that funnelled hole. Cramped in that funnelled hole, they watched the dawn open a jagged rim around, a yawn of death's jaws, which had all but swallowed them, stuck in the bottom of his throat of phlegm. They were in one of the many mouths of hell, not seen of seers in visions, only felt as teeth of traps when bones and dead are smelt under the mud where long ago they fell, mixed with the sour, sharp odour of the shell. Fragment. I saw his round mouth's crimson. I saw his round mouth's crimson deepen as it fell, like a sun in his last deep hour, watched the magnificent recession of farewell, clouding, half gleam, half glower, and the last splendour burn on the heavens of his cheek and in his eyes, the cold stars lighting, very old and bleak, in different skies. Fragment. As bronze may be much beautified. As bronze may be much beautified by lying in the dark damp soil, so men who fade in dust of warfare fade, fairer and sorrow blooms their soul. Like pearls which noble women wear, and tarnishing a while confide unto the old salt sea to feed, many return more lustrous than they were. But what of them buried profound, buried where we can no more find, who lie dark for ever under abysmal war? Has your soul sipped? Has your soul sipped of the sweetness of all sweets? Has it well supped, but yet hungers and sweats? I have been witness of a strange sweetness, all fancy surpassing, past all supposing, passing the rays of the rubies of morning, or the soft rise of the moon, or the meaning known to the rose of her mystery and mourning, sweeter than nocturnes of the wild nightingale, or than love's nectar after life's gall, sweeter than odours of living leaves, sweeter than ardours of dying loves, sweeter than death and dreams hereafter, to one in dearth of life and its laughter, or the proud wound the victor wears, or the last end of all wars, or the sweet murder after long guard unto the martyr smiling at God. To me was that smile, faint as a wan-worn myth, faint and exceeding small on a boy's murdered mouth. Though from his throat the life-tide leaps, there was no threat on his lips. But with the bitter blood and the death smell, all his life's sweetness bled into a smile.